Hi, welcome to another episode of Book Covers DIY. Today I'm going to show you how to take inspiration from a bestseller book cover or any other book cover you like and not copy it, but use it as inspiration to make your own book cover. So let's get started. So here we are on Canva.com. This is that free website we use to make all of our book covers. Once you register and log in, you'll be taken to a homepage that looks similar to this. You should have a menu right across the middle here, and usually book cover is in there. If not, you can just come up to the top and type in book cover. It's going to take you over to Canva's templates page. Now here you'll find a bunch of pre-made templates, so you can always scroll through here for inspiration, but I'm going to show you another place where we can find inspiration. So let's come back up to the top, and I'm just going to select the first choice, create a blank book cover. That's going to take us over to our design studio area. Here on the right is our book cover. You can see it's currently blank, and here on the left we have our toolbar, and then our toolbox here that will change depending on which tool we're using. So you can see here it also defaults to the templates page. If you want to scroll through there, you still can. All right, for today's inspiration, I'm going to hop on over to Amazon.com. This is, of course, the best place to search for books, especially books in your genre. Other places to find books are Barnes & Noble, as well as the book sections of Target and Walmart. A good idea is to start taking notice of books you like, even if it's not the entire book cover, but maybe you just like the font or maybe, the color scheme or something like that. Start snapping photos of these books, create maybe a folder or collection on your phone. So when it comes time to design your own book cover, you can scroll through that collection and decide, I like the color scheme with this book, but I like the font of this one or the photo of this one. So start snapping photos when you are in a physical bookstore, and when you're on Amazon, you can always take screenshots and collect those as well. Okay, so here we are on Amazon.com. You can see across the top we have menus here for bestsellers or children's books, things like that, best books of the month. Let's click on this one right here, best books in top categories. These are just all the best books of August. If you want to just see what's trending right now, you can scroll through there. All right, you can scroll down. There's best children's books by age if you are needing a children's book cover. And then down here we have other categories. Let's check out mystery and thrillers. This one is a great one, The Woman Who Lied. Oh, here's another great one. I love this here with the cutout letters. This is going to give me an idea for a future episode. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and click on that book. And then I am going to right click on the image and then save image as. And I'm just going to save it to my desktop because I really love the way these letters are. So I'm thinking I want to make a book cover like this in the future for a future episode and show you guys. So see, just the way I did right now, you just right click and save image. It's going to be saved to your computer, and that's how you can create a folder of your own collection. All right, so I already have the inspiration for today's book cover, so let me hop on back over to Canva and let me show you the photo grabbed off of Amazon the other day. What's great is when you save that to your computer, look, you can make it smaller or larger, so while you're designing you can kind of get an idea. Also, if you have a bunch of them, you can put them all around while you are designing, just to give you, your inspiration. There are things I like and things I dislike about this photo. One thing I do like is all of this jewelry. You can see here we've got rings and necklaces and bracelets and a gold watch here. And I like the way the gold stands out against the black. Same thing with the pearls. Now what I don't like is all these bubbles. I guess everything is sinking in the water or something. I find it way too cluttered. I think the bubbles take away from the jewelry. So maybe if they were, fewer bubbles or something like that, but it is very, very busy. It's got a lot going on here. So even though there are things I dislike about this book cover, I'm going to show you how you can still take some inspiration and create a totally different design for your book cover. Okay, the inspiration I got from this photo is the jewelry. I want to include jewelry on my cover, but not all different kinds of jewelry like this with earrings and all that. I want to stick with just rings. But then I started thinking, well, what kind of rings? And then I thought, oh, diamond rings. Let's just only select diamond rings. But not only diamond rings, engagement rings. So that started to inspire, my made-up story. Okay, so that's going to be our idea for today. We're going to create a book cover for a mystery thriller about a woman who keeps getting engaged or marrying men and then doing away with the men. So that's our, fake story for today. Okay, all right, so the first thing we're going to do is select a background for our book cover. Oh, I forgot to tell you. As you notice we're only doing the front cover today because today's video is just about the design part of it. So if you are needing a full book cover for print, you can still watch today's video for inspiration, then hop on over to my print book cover design tutorial where I will go on to show you how to design your back cover and your spine and how to calculate the exact dimensions for your book. The link will be in the description box below, so be sure and check that out right after today's video. Alright, so back to our canvas, come over to our toolbar on the left, and we are going to click on background down here, and you're going to see that our toolbox changed. So if we just want a basic color, we can come across the top here, and you can see as we click on each color, the background is changing to match. If you want to see more colors, you can scroll to the side, or if you don't like any of these colors in this menu, click on this little paint palette, and then you'll be able to scroll down and see more colors or even some with gradients. Like for instance, this one here, there's another one there. And if you want to select your own color, scroll back up to the top, click on this little circle with the plus sign. It says add a new color. We're still in gradient. Let's click on solid color. And then you're going to have some sliders here. I always like to start with the bottom slider, which is this rainbow. This is going to choose your base color. So let's say we want to go with like a pink. We would put over here in this pink zone, and then we would use the top slider to select a shade. So you can see it's getting light pink and then more fuchsia. So that's how you can customize the background color. Another thing you can do is if you want a pattern, you can scroll down and for instance, here's patterns. Let's click on see all. You can choose a stripe pattern like that, or a chevron pattern. You don't have to stick with the color that is shown here. So let's say I want to change the color of this chevron design. If you look up here, you're going to see there is a little gray circle that says background color. Click in there, and then you're going to get your color palettes again. Let's click on pink, and you can see it changed to pink or blue. So you can customize those designs. You don't have to stick with whatever that background was. There's also textures, flowers, things like that. We can get out of there. All right, so for today, I'm actually going to just choose a solid color. And since we are talking about diamond rings, we are going to have to choose a Tiffany box blue. The next thing I need to find are some diamond rings. So I'm going to come over here to our toolbox and click on elements. And then I'm just going to type in diamond ring. Now I have a choice of graphics, which are going to be more of like these illustrations. Let me click on see all. For today, I want to go with more realistic, like in our inspirational photo. So instead of graphics, I'm going to select the photos right next to it. My dog is sleeping and snoring, so if you're hearing that, just I'm sorry, just ignore it. So here we are under photos. And if you'll notice, some of these photos have a little crown. And when you hover over them, it says Pro. That means those photos are only available with Canva Pro, which is the paid version. If you'd like to filter those out, then come back up to the search bar, and you're going to see these three lines with three circles. Click in there. This is where you can adjust your filters. If you go under price and click on free, then click off to the side, it's going to filter out all the paid results, and you're going to see only the free. Now I'm using the paid version, so I'm going to unclick that, and you can see they'll come back. Another thing you'll notice is some of these images have a background, like for instance this one here. I'm going to make that smaller, and you can see I'm doing that by grabbing the corner. You can grab any of these four corners and drag it in or stretch it out. Okay, so there's one with a background, and here's one without. I prefer to select the ones without. But if there is a photo you like and you want the background removed, now keep in mind, this is going to be a feature of the paid version only. Canva always has like a 30-day or 1 month free trial, so you can always use the free trial and access this feature. Okay, so I'm going to click on the photo, and you can see the little purple box appears. Then I'm going to come up here and click on Edit Image. Then you can see the toolbox changes again. Right here under Magic Studio, you'll see it says BG Remover. That's Background Remover. We're going to click in there. And while we're clicking there, you see as quick as that, it already did it. I did not, edit the video or anything, do a jump cut. It literally did it that fast. Okay, so now you can see that background is removed. So if I wanted to use that for today's video, I could, which I might. I'm going to hang on to that one. Okay, so let's go back here and find some more rings. We're looking for, diamond rings, engagement rings. Here's another one, and of course I'm going to make it small again. So I'm just going to grab a bunch of different rings, and then we'll start placing them and also making them be a little bit more cohesive, because you can see this one here is much darker than this one. So we do need to adjust some of the lighting for some of these. All right, so here are all the rings I've chosen. I may not use all these. We'll see once we start placing them. I do want to show you how you can adjust them. Like this one here is the one I told you that's a little bit darker than the rest. I'm going to click on that, and you can do this with any of your photos. You may find two totally different elements, whether they be buildings or flowers or even people, and maybe one of them has a much darker shadow than the other, and maybe the coloring of one photo is a little bit too orange and the other one is a little bit too blue. I'll show you how you can make those adjustments to make everything more cohesive. So I'm going to click on this one, which is the one that's a little bit too dark, and I'm going to click on Edit Image. And this is how we got to background remover, but instead I'm going to scroll down to filters and click on see all, and you can see here are those filters. So for instance, let's say I wanted it a little bit more warm. I can click on this one here that says latte, and you can see it actually made it very gold. Maybe let's say I was trying to match these, then I might want to use that. I don't want to use that right now, so let me go back. Let's try this. Okay, look at this one, this Bali one. That really helped brighten it up. It's a little bit too intense, so here's before. Maybe midway, because I think it's just too bright that way. So let's maybe, right about there maybe. There's some other choices. There's aura. We could do the same thing right there. We can adjust the intensity. Actually, I think I like aura better. Let's see, this one here, let's do that to the gold one. Same thing, I'm going to edit image. Let's see what Nordic looks like. Here's none. If you ever want to go back, you can just choose none. I think I'm going to choose Vento for that one. Okay, and now let's do that to this one here too. Let's try aura. All right, and since I already have one shape like this, I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this gold one. I'm going to click on the one I don't want, and you're going to see this little toolbar appears. I'm going to click on the trash can, which is delete. Okay, so I think this is pretty good here. We do need to adjust the size of this one. It's much too big compared to the rest. This one might be a little bit too small. Now, another thing, if you want to change the direction of your image, for instance, let's say I want this one pointing upward, I can click on it, and then you're going to see this little circle here with two arrows. If you click on there and hold it, that is your pivot control. So you can see I'm turning it all the way around, and then I've now faced it this way. So you can do that to any of your elements, photos, things like that. Okay, so now that we have all these here, I'm just going to start trying to get some idea of where I want to place them. All right, so now that we have our background color, this pretty Tiffany blue, and then we have our elements, our jewelry here, let's add a title. So again, we're going to come over here to our toolbar, and we are going to click on text. Now, if you scroll down, you're going to see there are a bunch of pre-made titles. If you want to use any of these. Now, some of them have the crown as well. Those are the paid version, but there are many that are free. So you can scroll through here and find one you like. But I'm just going to go up to the top, and I'm going to click on add a heading. When I do that, you can see a text box appears over here. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is to put in your title. You want to do that before you choose your font. And the reason is because the best way to choose a font is to see your actual title in that font. Okay, so now we need to think of an actual title for this fake story. Let's see, pretty things. Well, you know what? Let's just be Captain Obvious and call this Diamond Rings. So I'm backspacing, and I'm going to do it in all caps right now. I don't know if I'll keep that. We'll see. I'm only going to write diamond, and the reason is it's going to be much easier if you select your font and adjust your size and everything, and then just duplicate diamond for rings. Now that we have written the first word of our book title, let's go ahead and change this font. This is a very boring font. We do not want to keep this. It's called Canva Sans. It is just the default font, and please don't keep your book title in Canva Sans. Okay, so we are going to click on this down arrow, and when we do, we're going to get all of these different font choices. Again, you're going to see some have the crown, but the majority of them are free. So all you have to do is scroll through and find some fonts you like. Again, you can refer to one of your book covers that you've chosen for inspiration. This one's a little plain. I think I might choose something a little bit fancier than this. Okay, so there's a nice one there. Now let me show you another trick you can do. Let's say you like this one, but you're not quite sure yet. You can either just scroll through and keep changing it, but what's going to happen, and I promise you this is going to happen because this happens to me all the time, is you're going to forget the very first one you like, because you're probably going to try, I don't know, if this is your first book cover, you might try up to 50 until you're happy. Even I've been doing this forever and I still can try, you know, sometimes up to 20 before I'm for sure. So I would suggest, instead of just changing, go back up. Like I already forgot, it was the seasons. Okay, I think that was the season. See, I already forgot with all my talking. So what you can do is you can click on your text box and you have this toolbar here. Next to the trash can, to the left of it, you're going to see two little rectangles with a plus sign. That is duplicate. You can duplicate that first one, bring it down, and then instead of changing that first one that you really liked, we're just going to change this one. So let's find another one we like. Okay, so see, here's Ricoletta. Pretty similar. This one's a little bit wider, a little bit bolder. But again, let's see, I'm not sure. Well, I can just duplicate it again, and then I'll have a third one. I don't really like that, but I just grabbed one. So what you could do is you could move these aside and kind of get an idea like, that's how that one will look. And if you don't like it, you just delete it, and then you try the next one and click off to the side, and you can get an idea like, no, I don't like that one. And you can just do that and so on. Okay, I'm not happy with any of these, so let me grab one that I really like. 1 second. All right, so here's one I actually like. It is called Lavello. You can see right here. Also, you can see right there. Let me click off to the side so you can see it. Because remember, again, I wanted something a little bit fancy. And this is something you can take into consideration when you are designing your title. Again, this is about a sort of a black widow who tends to do away with her husband. So I like these sort of sharp edges on these M's and the N's, especially on the A as well, very like knife sharp edges. And then I really like the O, the roundness of the O and the D's, because it helps to complement all the roundness of these rings. Okay, so now I'm happy with this font, but I'm not going to duplicate it yet because I want to choose a color. Right now it's just basic black. To change that, you just click on your font and you're going to come up here. You're going to see an A with the rainbow box beneath it. That is your text color. You click in there. Again, you're going to get all of these paint swatches. I mean, not paint swatches. I'm sorry. You're going to get all of these color swatches or color palettes. At the top, it says document colors. These are the current colors in your document. So there's our background and there's our current font. Ignore this. These are my website colors. If you scroll down, you're going to see this section that says photo colors. A cool thing that Canva does is anytime you select a photo in Canva or upload one of your own, it's going to make a color palette from that photo. For instance, if I wanted to match my title to the rings, then I could click on any of these colors and you can see it changed here. Here's the shadow part, and here's like an in-between. Of course, if your cover will probably have different photos, you'll have different palettes here. At the bottom are default colors if you just want to go with a default color. You can come up here to this circle, again, the rainbow circle with the plus sign, add a new color. Here's again, like I showed you earlier, where you can adjust the colors. You can see as I'm dragging it to the green, it's changing, and to the blue, and so on, and the top chooses the shade. Now, another thing you can do is you can click on this eyedropper tool, and then it's going to give you a circle. Whatever you place it over, you can see it pixelates the photo. So let's go to the gold one. You can see in the shadows, it's very dark. So if I click on the shadow part, it's going to turn pretty much black. Let me grab the eyedropper again. Now let's go to the highlight. Let's go maybe the diamond part. And it changed very light silver, almost white. Now let's go to a mid-tone, like this gold right here. And you can see it changed to a dark gold. And there's also highlights in the gold, like that. But again, I'm happy with this gold right here, which is just slightly darker, a little bit more yellow. So I'm going to choose that one. Okay, so now that I have my font selected and my color selected, now I'm going to duplicate diamond, and I'm going to write, what did we just say it was called? Diamond rings. Okay, diamond rings. Yeah, I don't want rings that small. So I'm going to grab the corner, and I want rings to actually be just as wide as diamond. I'm going to bring it down some. So let's look at that. Okay, let me move these. Oh, no. I meant to move this ring, but you see I grabbed rings. But it's a good thing because I'm going to show you how to undo something if you make a mistake like I just did. All you have to do is come up here to this backwards arrow and you click on undo. And I actually wanted to move this one down. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is group them together so that if I move them, they'll move as one. To do that, I'm going to click on diamond, hold down shift, and click on rings. Now it's going to place them, the two boxes, inside one purple box. But I want to group them so that they're no longer two boxes. I'm going to click on group, and you can see those other lines disappeared, and now it's one box. I can click off to the side and back on and move them together. Now at any time I want, I can ungroup them and they'll go back. I might place this right about here, and you can see it is centered when the center line appears. It's a solid line, not a dotted line. And I think what I want to do is this ring right here, I'm going to make it smaller, and I think I want to place it around this O. If you want to zoom in when you're designing, let's say I'm having a hard time seeing if it's even, there is a slider down here and you can slide it to the right to zoom in. So now I can adjust that. If you're having a hard time being precise with your mouse, you can always use your up, down, left, right arrow keys, and that's what I'm doing because the mouse, I was not being steady enough with that. Okay, so now let me zoom back out. Okay, let's look. Okay, this one says Pretty Things, a novel. So I want to write a novel down here. This time, we're going to go back to our text. If you have accidentally clicked off, all you have to do is click on text again. Let's say you went to elements for some reason. Just click on text again, and it's going to take you back. This time, instead of add a heading, I'm going to click on add a subheading. It's going to give me a smaller text box, and I'm just going to write a novel in all caps again. And again, I don't want to leave that in Canva Sans, so I'm going to go and choose another font for that. Okay, I like this one here, this Bebas New. You'll notice that it has an arrow next to it. That means that there are other options. So if you click the down arrow, it's going to let you choose between regular or bold. I'm going to center it right there. The solid line appears. And let's change the color. Again, we're going to go up to text color. Maybe this time I might want to choose one of these grays to match the rings. You know what? Let's take off that bold. The title is already bold, so I don't think this needs to be that bold. And maybe we should make that smaller. We can drag the corner in, or we can also come up here to the font size. It's at 130. We can try 120, or we can use the up plus and minus to adjust that. I think it's good at 120. Let's just make sure it's centered. Okay, I'm going to adjust these rings some. Again, I probably will move them a little bit more. We still got to put the author name. But before we do that, there's something else important we need to add. Now, at the beginning of this video, I told you my sort of plot idea for this book. You know, oftentimes as authors, we may think, well, they can read the book blurb or they can read the back of it or, you know, the inside jacket, something like that. But the best way to tell someone or to grab someone's attention for a novel like this, where it really doesn't tell you what it's about, just says diamond rings. It could be about anything. It could be about a jewel thief. It could be about a wedding coordinator. It could be about anything. But the best way to grab your potential reader's attention is by having a tagline on the front of your cover. Just glancing at it, they're going to get an idea of what it's about. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for this one. Okay, so I'm going to add a subheading again, and let's drag that up here. Let's think of a tagline. Oop, I don't want it all caps for this one. Okay, so there's our tagline. She loves men and murder. So someone is going to glance at this, you know, whether it's in a bookstore or an online marketplace, and get some idea of what they're going to read about. This is very intriguing. Now we just need to select a font and change the color. Okay, I chose this one here. This is Cambria. Again, it has an arrow, so you can choose regular or bold. I'm just going to leave it as bold. And then I want to change the color to match this one. Let's come up here to this A. And instead of trying to find out like, oh no, I don't remember which one of these it was, all you have to do is look at the top, document colors, and here are all the current colors. So there's your book title, there's your background, this is the color it currently is, and then this is for a novel, which is the one we want. Let's click on that. If you want to go a little bit darker, yeah, I think I actually want to go a little bit darker with that one. Maybe on a novel too, because I want to make sure someone's going to be able to see that in passing. So now we have our tagline, we have our title, we need to add our author name. I'm actually going to use this font up here. I can ungroup these, duplicate and stuff, but I want to show you how to also find a previously used font. So let me go ahead and just click add a heading. Okay, let's say Danielle. We're going to click on Canva Sans, and then let's say we don't remember the name of this one. All we have to do is scroll all the way up to the top, and just like where it said document colors, it also saves your document font. So here are all the fonts we have used. When I click on each one, it's changing to match. So Bebis New was a novel. Cambria was this one up here. The She Loves Men and Murder. Canva Sans is what it was originally, and then now Lavello is going to match this one here. And then I want to match the color, so I'm going to go to text color and just select that one. All right, so Danielle, let's make that larger. So I'm going to duplicate that, and let's just call her. And I want Howell to be as large as Danielle. Okay, so now we have all of our words on the screen, and now let's adjust these rings. Now this one here, you can see this ring keeps coming up behind the D or the S. If I want it in front of it, let me show you how to do that. This is the same for any photos you have. Let's say one photo keeps appearing behind the other, but you want that one to be in the foreground. All you have to do is click on your photo, or any element actually. Then you're going to click on position, and this is going to show you all the different layers in your book covers. So here we have the author name, the title, tagline, and then all the rings, and then here's our background. So this is our ring here. See, it's highlighted purple. That's the one we are having problems with. I want it to be the top layer, and you can see it's way down here. This would be the top layer right now, Howl. So I'm going to click on this ring and drag it all the way to the top and then let go, and you can see now it appeared on top. So now I can place it. I want it to be over that S. Let's click off the side. And this one, I can pivot it, but I think I actually want to flip it. To do that, I can come up here to the word flip, and I want to flip it horizontally. So you can see now it's facing this direction, and then now I can pivot that. Now, if you want to attach this diamond to the title, so it stays around that O perfectly, if you decide to move this, all you have to do is click on the ring, hold down Shift, and click on the title, and then group that. So now it all moves together so that you can adjust that. Same thing with Danielle and Howell. I'm going to click on Shift and group those together so I can adjust those as well. I want to make those slightly larger. And I want this ring to be above that O. So again, I'll go to position, and here's all of our layers. There's the ring. I'm going to bring it to the top layer, and so that way it appears above that O. Guys, I grabbed one more ring because something was feeling off, so I grabbed this one here. I'm not really caring for this one right here, so I'm going to delete that one. I think that one's the one giving me the trouble. If you're ever having trouble getting something to be centered, like I'm having trouble right now, you can also click on position, and here where we were in layers, click on arrange, and you can see it must not be centered because the center should be grayed out. So if I'm going to click on center, and it jumped over, and you can see now it is showing as grayed out. Okay, same thing with this position. It's centered already because it's grayed out. Novel, grayed out. This one is not. See? Now it is. Okay guys, so we are done with this book cover. Let me show you how we can download it and save it, and then we'll check it out side by side with our inspiration. Okay, so first thing we want to do is name our project right here. It just says add a heading. Let's call this Diamond Rings book cover. All right, and then we're going to click on share and download. It's going to suggest PDF standard because it thinks you want to print it. Right now we're just going to check it out as an image, so I'm going to select PNG, And then I'm going to click on download, and it just has to reach the other end. Right, that's it. Okay, so now we're going to open this, get that from our downloads. All right, so here's our book cover right next to our inspiration. Again, we were not trying to copy this in any way. We just took a few ideas from this. Basically, you know, the jewelry, I guess the title sort of, Pretty Things, Diamond Rings. But in no way could it be accidentally mistaken for this book. It's a completely different thing, completely new idea. We have the Tiffany blue, which is an iconic color associated with engagement rings, diamonds, things like that. We have all of our engagement rings here with our diamonds. We have this fun little element of this diamond ring around the O. It's always fun to do an element like that. They did one here, but kind of in a weird place, like they did it over the EL. One thing they do have cool is they have the chain here going through the O. Same thing here, it's going in and around the letters. Okay, so we had added a fun element like that by just adding our ring around the O. We have our title, Diamond Rings, in this really nice font. I love this font here with the sharp edges. Okay, so that's it for today's book cover tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I've helped you to get some ideas of how to get inspiration from other books. And again, you don't want to copy them. You don't want to do everything the same. You want to be an original. Your book is an original, so you want your cover to be an original. But I just wanted to show you how you can take inspiration, different elements for different things, and make them totally and completely your own. So if you enjoyed today's tutorial and learned something, please let me know in the comment section. I love hearing your feedback. And again, if you're needing a print book cover, check out my print book cover tutorial. The link is in the description box below. So that's it for today. Thanks again for watching, liking, and subscribing. Until next time, bye-bye.